wageni wakaribishwa Kilimanjaro. Welcome to day 5 of our Kilimanjaro climb up to the top. So today was I just remember waking up and it was freezing. It was freezing. Woke up, had hot chocolate, washed my face, and was ready to go. The goal today was to go from Barafu Camp to Karanga Camp, which was 4.5 hours away. Now, like I mentioned previously, the main hurdle was climbing the Barafu wall, a 300-meter high wall, which is quite rocky and exposed. But it was fun. That was the initial hurdle. Had to put my poles away and use both hands with my gloves and walk around the rock face, like hug the rock. Felt like Black Panther, which is cool. And then you continue and eventually you get to the top. It takes about 2 to 3 hours. Took me about 2 hours to get to the top. But when you do, your effort is well rewarded. You have like this amazing, expansive view of Kilimanjaro's main peak, that peak cone I talked about, Kibo on one side, and then you see like the Karanga Valley. So took some time out, took a break, took some pictures, and then we descended. Now the rest of the day was mostly a flat downhill walk. You just have a little bit of another steep climb up to the final campsite at Karanga. Now you can see it's ahead. It's quite a walk away, but it's you just pace yourself and take your time. Now it's pretty common to see the porters and backpacks. A lot of the local walkers who carry like the camp equipment, your tent, and other heavier loads on their head, on their back, and seeing them navigate to climb the wall and to climb that. So that was impressive, just seeing their fitness when I'm just trotting along with my light 8 kg bag. So it was impressive to kind of see them do that. Now, when we got to the top of the wall, before we descended, we rested, took some pictures, had like a bathroom break. Now, finally, we made it to Karanga Camp, which was good. It was long and tough, but we made it. Now, before we made it in the afternoon, had lunch, so you get to rest in your tent, relax a bit, have a bit of a nap. But before dinner, I think this was around 3 p.m., you're also encouraged to go on another acclimatization walk. This is like a 45-minute hike, which is higher. I believe it's about 4,600 meters. And you do that so that, again, you expose yourself to higher altitude, you can acclimatize, and then you come down again. So the next day when you go for a higher walk in day 6, it's not as difficult. Now, so generally it was good. But besides that, it was exciting. I was excited. I just had one more day of climbing. And after that one day of climbing, day 6, at midnight of day 6, we'll do the final ascent to the peak. So really, really excited. But see you next time. Nero out. Bye. So day 6. Woke up early. It was freezing but quiet. So got a good view. So decided to walk around. Took a few pictures while listening to some music. Clouds everywhere. So previous night we had walked through the clouds so we could see the clouds below and lots of lights at the ground level. So it was good. We finally set out for the climb. So we were heading to Barafu Camp, which is the last one before the final ascent. Barafu Camp was 4,673 meters, so quite high, the highest so far. It was 4.5 kilometers and about 4 hours of walk. The walk mainly included, so we set out, we did a 3-hour steep climb, so going up 3 hours, and then another 3 hours across a rocky plateau, and then finally a steep climb, another 3 hours up into Barafu Camp. Now, today was the toughest day for me. Actually, it was the penultimate toughest day, the second toughest day. I really felt the altitude effects, out of breath, nausea, headache. Had some water and just tried to keep pushing on. And I reckon it was also the hardest for a lot of my fellow climbers. I saw at least 2 people pass out, which was tough. But we kind of just pushed through. I had some water and just kept on going and finally completed the steeper climb to get into Barafu Camp. Now, you get in the afternoon, so slightly earlier than usual. So let's say 12 noon, you have lunch. Let's say 12 noon, 1 p.m., you have lunch. Now, there was the option to do another slightly shorter climb to another peak. So the idea to another higher point. Now the idea for that was just to like an acclimatization walk. It wasn't really a climb, it was more like a slow walk. So I did that. And then once you're done with that, we have like a final dinner, which is earlier than usual. I think it was around 6 p.m. Now it's 6 p.m. So at this final dinner, we got like the full briefing because at midnight, at midnight we'll be doing the final ascent to the peak. And that's where it gets really dangerous in terms of the cold, in terms of the altitude, in terms of everything. So we got the briefing, what to do, what not to do, stick to the group, really move slowly. You can get dizzy, but just keep going. It was amazing. It was exciting. Everyone was really, this final push was really keen to make it out. Now, one thing I should have mentioned was when we arrived at Barafu Camp, it took a while for us to set up our camp and set up our gear because the previous group who had climbed to the peak and come down had taken a nap and taken a lot of time to get ready and leave. So we had to wait for a bit and obviously have our dinner and our lunch in the open air, which was not ideal. So, but yeah, we were set up and we're ready. So went to sleep, went to sleep, and I was looking forward to just waking up for the final ascent to the top. Yeah, it seemed straightforward. That's what I thought, but I was about to get a real shocker. See you, bye. Hakuna matata. Naomba dada tucheze. Hakuna matata. Unaweza kuja. Hakuna matata.